So, I was listening to James Altucher, and he was talking about how back in the day, you could pay your taxes with weed. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? So, it was, at this point, we're talking Jamestown time, it was actually illegal for you to have crops and not grow cannabis. Kind of different than where we are today, right? So this got me to thinking, of course, put my thinking cap on. It got me to thinking about why are we in the state that we are, right? Like you could pay your taxes with weed and then it became illegal. Why? Because was a political maneuver, money, yada yada. It's been around for like 5,000 years and it's been illegal for about 80 or so, right? What's going on here? Obviously there is some kind of political benefit, right? So again, got me thinking, how often are we doing things like, oh, this has been around since the ancient times, right? The ancient ones did this, they lived this, and yet in today's modern society, it's bad. Don't do that. And we just accept it, right? We don't actually do the research. We don't actually say, is this true for my own soul? We're just like, oh, yeah, cannabis, bad. Yep. Ooh, I mean, horrible. Don't do that stuff. When it was going into, it was up for debate, government, blah, 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 blah. Should this become illegal? The Surgeon General, whatever it was at the time, was like, no, there are no actual medical things that say that cannabis, weed, marijuana should be illegal. And they were like, but we're gonna make it illegal anyways. Okay, thanks so much for showing up, right? How often are we, and then we blindly like, oh yeah, government's got it all together, right? Yeah. The government says, hey, you can have this much pus in milk and then let's serve it and say that everyone needs it to grow, right? I'm vegan now, yeah, so I don't believe in milk, but even before that, didn't believe in milk. You can ask my mama. Even when I was a baby, I would not drink milk because it's disgusting. Because after we're babies, we don't need it. I'm not gonna go into a political thing on milk, right? But the government says you can have this much pus in your milk and it's okay. It's cool, right? That's an acceptable amount of cow pus for people to consume. That's disgusting. Except we, as a society, say that's cool. I mean, it's ice cream, it tastes yummy. We all like ice cream, right? So it's okay if the government doesn't actually put good stuff in it. It's cool, right? The government says essential oils. No, those are bad, dude. That's not cleared. You can't actually. There's no statement that says that this is an actually healthy thing for you to use. Except we say all these other things. Cigarettes, those are legal. Okay. But peppermint oil, we should really be careful of peppermint oil because that's dangerous. Dude, right? I want you to really start whatever you believe. I don't need you to be vegan. I don't need you to not eat ice cream. I don't need you to dislike milk. Maybe you love it, right? Like whatever it is. I don't need you to use peppermint oil. I mean, peppermint oil is freaking amazing. I hope that you don't smoke cigarettes because they're really bad for you. But I digress. What I want you to do is actually look at your life and look at where you are blindly following along because someone else told you you should. This is a good idea. Even though, 100 years ago, it was an idiotic idea. But now it makes a whole lot of sense, right? Corsets. Whoever thought that was a good idea, right? Women fainting all over the place, except it was what you did if you were a woman. And if you had money, you had even better corsets. How did this make sense, right? But people did it. It was society. Let's all blindly follow along because someone else said this was a good thing. Let's look at your art, because I always bring it back to the art, right? How are you creating? What are you creating? Are you creating in a way that your soul is actually freaking turned on and you're like, oh my God, yes. Or are you creating in a way that you think will make money? Are you creating in a way that's societally acceptable? Are you creating, maybe you're from a family of artists and now you're creating and using mediums that your family uses, except you want to be way over here, right? Maybe you're from a family of corporate executives and you're like, but dreams, I've got them, but let them die a slow death, and so I can just keep trucking along with my family and society. I want you to look at how you're creating, how you're living, how you're loving. Look at your relationships. How are you showing up? Are you loving and having relationships in a way that completely fuel you and turn on your soul? Or are you doing it in a way that society says is good, or your family says is good, or your family, or your friends, right? Oh, maybe you're like, oh, yes, I am so ready for the one, for that deep, connected intimacy, except all your friends, they have really shitty relationships. And so you're like, can't really, if I have the really amazing relationship that I've really got no complaints about, it's amazing. It's kind of like bliss, like orgasmic waking bliss every day. Even our fights end up in ecstasy. I mean, like, what are you, like, how are you gonna hang out with those friends who do nothing except complain about men or women or whatever it is that they're complaining about, right? It's hard. You're like, ooh, ooh. What do you need to shift? Look at who you're being. Look at how you're showing up. Look at how you're creating. Look at your health. Look at the way that you love and are being loved, the way that you believe, like the things that you hold as truth. I want you to look at them. Don't believe me just because I say something. Don't believe your family just because they say something. Don't believe society. Don't believe the media. Don't believe the government just because someone says something is yay and true. They used to tell pregnant women that they should smoke cigarettes because it was healthy and it was a good idea. Okay. I mean, not, but okay. So look at what you're being fed. Look at the content and the ideas that you're consuming into your life and allow yourself to wake up. Wake up to your own truth, not just blindly following. And if you're like, I don't blindly follow anyone, blah, 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 I'm a rebel and I do it whatever I want, there is still something, and I get that, trust me, rebel, I get it. But there is something in you that is still following along. Maybe it's following along because it used to serve you in the past. Maybe you're blindly following along after your wounds, right? After your traumas in the past. You are blindly following your old stories of what you are and who you are and what you need to do and why you need to show up and behave a certain way. Are you just blindly following your past? Look at where you're not consciously and intentionally questioning things, questioning your power, questioning who you are, questioning how you create and why you're showing up and who you're being in the world. Yes? Yes. Oh, okay. So, a little fired up. But we should be fired up about something, many things in our life, right? So, if you get a little fired up about this, hopefully it gives you something, right? Let me know. Put me a little comment. Say, hey, or throw me an emoji. You know, I love the comments that are like your favorite emoji or what this brought up for you. And yeah, tell me what you've been blindly following along and that you're now like, oh, shitballs, Batman. Might want to check that, right? And how can we like really just like get into the game of our own game, our own playing field, our own championship. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I love you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on that little notification bell. I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.